Whatever. Yeah, we're going to go over the bigger games from last week. You know, as we are later in the NFL season, we got big playoff implications on a lot of these regular season games that are going on. So the first one I want to talk about, it was an absolute war. It was over a week ago now as we're talking about this, but Rams versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks came out victorious by 1 point, 38-37 during that game. Matthew Stafford threw for 457 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Winging that thing, bro.
And Puka Nakua.
He did get the L, too.
He went absolutely ballistic. Puka Nakua, 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That boy was running
fantasy points, bro.
That boy was running silly all over the football field. That game for me, I guess we'll talk about, like we said, the big playoff implications from this game. The Rams and the Seahawks, obviously in the same division here, which is, I think, the NFC West?
Yeah.
NFC West. Rams lost that game by merely 1 point, but Stafford, 450 yards. Seahawks still able to come out on top. And their defense, it was really bend, not break for them. But that was something I felt like I kind of needed to see from the Seahawks personally. We talked about last episode, the Seahawks have some good games, some bad. Kind of want to see what they would do versus the Rams, and then they held up again.
Yeah, that game was crazy. It came down. They went to OT, and then it came down to that. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but it was like they threw the pass, and it was a backwards pass, and the ball got hit forward. Then he just picked it up and walked in. Like, that was one of the craziest ways I've seen a football game end. But yeah, that was a crazy game, and Stafford, I think, is getting close to solidifying himself as the MVP if he hasn't already. So that was a good game.
Also, that game, 996 total yards. As I'm looking at the stats right now.
That's 1,000 yards is crazy.
They had almost 1,000 yards in a playoff caliber football game.
Not gonna lie to you, that's the best division game we've seen in a long time, especially for playoff implications. Because, like you said, these are two teams in the same exact division. They're both really good, and they have the Niners on their tail. So it's like you're trying to play your best football. Everybody did play their best football. I mean, like, the Rams didn't let JSN get going until the second half, and he did get going, and he just went crazy, going for 100 something. What'd you have, 140 something yards on here?
He had 8 for 96, all in one half of football.
8 for 96. Okay, so that must have been somebody else. But still, yeah, one half of football, he got all those stats. And it wasn't even him to get the last 2-point conversion, but he got the last touchdown. So couldn't nobody stop him. It was great. Sam Darnold stuck in there. I'm not a Sam Darnold believer. I still don't want to be, but, like, bro's cooking right now. He's cooking in the right time. So
he is indeed cooking at the right time. The other game, huge playoff implications on that game, was Packers-Bears. And that was also a glorious football game. I don't know if you guys tuned in for that one. But 16-6, 2.5 minutes left. Packers lead by 10 points. Give up a touchdown. Next thing you know, onside kick is recovered by the Bears as well. They come down, get a field goal, tie the football game, go into overtime. DJ Moore, 50-yard. Caleb Williams dialed up the launch codes.
Yeah.
DJ Moore.
Did you see him after, too? He threw it and it was like, just put his hands in his pocket because he knew it was going in.
And I, sadly, had money on the Packers that game.
Ooh.
Last leg of the parlay for 370 buckaroonies, man. That hurt me to my soul. But hey, I was in a spot. I took a hedge on the Bears later in the game. But I remember when I saw it, it was right before the onside kick went up. The Bears were plus 3,000, bro, for the hedge. But as soon as they got that onside kick and they took it, their odds went down to, I think, like, plus 140. And I took the hedge there. And I was like, all right, it's fine.
Hey, how much was that cash out?
Oh, well, the hedge, I still made, I think, $200 profit off the hedge. But, because I put a whole 100 on it. I put a whole 100.
Oh, okay. So
I still made 140. Because I was in a spot where I was like, okay, if I can make 360, I'll bet 100 for a hedge. But either way, I'm getting way too off topic here. That game, absolutely insane. The Chicago Bears, their comeback ability this season has been a hell of a thing to watch. We know as Cleveland fans, Cleveland Indians or Guardians, they were known as the cardiac kids, all those years ago. I think the Bears could have taken that title this year. I think it was their 10th one-score victory this season already. Something like that, just an absurd number. But to me, biggest takeaway I have from that game is the Bears, I think, are legitimate playoff contenders. I'm going to be honest. I think they're legitimate playoff contenders.
Yeah. I don't know about. I mean, I feel like they'll do okay. I'm not really too sold on them just because the NFC is really tough, and I think there's better teams over there. But I think that they could at least beat for sure. But yeah, that was a big game too. That like you said, that bomb to DJ Moore was crazy right off rip, and he knew. And Caleb's been balling this year, so shout out Caleb. We knew Ben Johnson was going to get him right eventually, and we're starting to see it kind of fully flourish here towards the end of the year. So shout out them. They got it done. So.
And Jordan Love out for this upcoming game as well. Malik Willis going to start for them next week. Well, it's got the Packers sitting at 9-5-1, the Bears at 11-4. And then Jerry, did you tune into that game too?
I didn't really tune into that game that much, mainly because I ain't gonna lie, I watched the Bears this season for Caleb, and I benched him this week, or not this week, last week technically, for Stafford. So I was like, you know what, not really going to tune in. But the fact that Jordan Love did get hurt, honestly, you said they're sitting at 9-5-1.
Mm-hmm.
They could be knocked out, right? Because the Niners are hot. The
standings right now.
The Seahawks and the Rams are both going to make the playoffs.
There's going to be 3 teams out of the NFC West, I think.
Yeah, there is because the Niners are what, either 9 or 10 win team.
They have 11, I think, bro. I think
if they have 11, then the Packers are definitely in trouble because they have to win the next 2 weeks for sure to get in.
So we got right now. Ooh, I didn't even think about that with that Seahawks game. They took the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So out of the AFC, you got Broncos at the 1, Patriots at the 2, Jaguars at the 3. It says Chargers 5, Bills 6. I'm not sure why the 4th. Oh, it says in the hunt Steelers. I'm not sure why it says
Steelers
in the hunt. It says they're the 4th. And the Texans are at the 7 as well. So it's Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Texans. In the NFC, it goes Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, Panthers, 49ers, Rams, Packers. So the Packers currently have the very last spot.
Wow, now. So yeah, they need to win these next 2. And Josh Jacobs is banged up, so you can't really rely. You haven't really been able to rely on a running game all season. Now you have to rely on a Malik Willis, who nobody wants to rely on at this point of the season. So who are they playing right now? Or not right now?
I was gonna say the only plus side is they play the Ravens, and I'm pretty sure Lamar is out.
Oh,
so
Lamar is hurt.
The plus
We're
side
gonna have a horrible game, fellas. It's gonna be Malik Willis against freaking Tyler Huntley.
It's great that the Packers also have a tie on their record, because if it comes down to it, it's like, okay, we have the same amount of wins, then the Packers also have that tie. So the Packers currently have 9. The team that's behind them is the Colts, but the Colts are 8-7. The Packers are 9-5-1.
Wait,
so
hold on,
Colts are AFC.
Oh my goodness! Wait, let me relook at what it was.
I'm confused, Gabe. What we doing?
I gave y'all a heads up. I'm a little tired today. So Packers are NFC. So the first NFC team that's out of it right now is actually the Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers.
And they have 8 wins? They have 7 wins, I'm pretty sure.
It's the Buccaneers are in the Viking, they're like on the outside looking in. The Vikings are at 8-8, and then the Lions are as well 8-8. And it says they're already out.
Crazy.
They're already out. They're already out.
The Lions are out.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy the Vikings kind of salvaged their season and got them into a position where they're like,
well, they're out.
They're not
going
to make it, but
they're out.
Wait, the Vikings are out. Wait, so are the NFC standings solidified? Like, who else can win the 7th seed?
When I'm looking at the standings right now, it says the only NFC teams that are still in the hunt and not eliminated is the Panther. Wait, why does it say they're in the hunt? They have it. Again, it keeps saying in the hunt. I'm so sorry, it's messed me up. Buccaneers are the only team it says left in the NFC that's not eliminated.
And it's because they can win their division. They can't. I'm pretty sure the Packers are in, because if the Packers have 9 wins,
and the Panthers and the Bucks just swap.
If the Packers have 9 wins,
the
Buccaneers have 7, that means that if they both finish with the most the Bucks can win is 9, and the Packers have the tie. So
Yeah, it
they're.
says I don't know why it says on the official NFL website they haven't officially clinched, but I think that's still a
I
clinch.
think it sounds like they're in to me.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody else can make it out of them. And then in the
Wait, so you
AFC,
said who were the two teams to have 8 wins in the NFC?
it's just the only team that can still make it and is not eliminated out of the NFC, other than the 7 teams that I said, is the Buccaneers.
And it's because they can win the division. So
No,
Exactly.
yeah, you said a second ago though that there were a couple of teams with 8
yeah,
wins.
the Lions
They're
have 8
eliminated.
and the
I was
Vikings
reading the
have
map
8. They're
wrong.
out.
It's the Vikings
Oh,
and
that's
the
because they
Lions
played
are eliminated.
Thursday. They played yesterday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Vikings eliminated the Lions, and the Vikings were already eliminated anyway, win or loss. So it's the Lions are out of playoffs for the NFC. We have another game from last week that had huge implications on it as well, was Ravens Patriots. Drake May had a great game, 380 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Stephon Diggs went crazy as well. I didn't even see this. 9 catches and 138 yards for Stephon Diggs. On the Ravens side of things, Lamar got hurt. Tyler Huntley came in. Tyler Huntley actually played decent. 9 for 10, only 65 yards passing. When Tyler Huntley's in, your team's going to run the football a lot more. So Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well for Derrick Henry. But that game, it was kind of back and forth for a lot of it. And then all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, the Patriots just went bonkers. The fourth quarter started out, Baltimore was up 24-10, and then 2 great drives by Drake May. And all of a sudden, game-winning touchdown, 2 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock. Ramondre Stevenson for 21 yards. I think different from what I thought a couple weeks ago. I think the Patriots are going to be a solid team in the playoffs as well. I think they've shown that they're great in all facets of the football game, and they're just kind of playing with what cards they were dealt this year. I know Jeremiah was an advocate for that, but I think a win against, even though it wasn't, a full healthy game of Lamar, I think you add another game on the schedule. They show they can come back, know how to win football games. I really liked what I saw from the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm not on the Patriots wave still. They're not good.
Come on, fellas.
They're not.
Nah, bro.
What are we
Broncos,
doing?
Patriots, both. I promise you, both of them are fraudulent. The Broncos just had a war with the Chiefs last night, and who did even play quarterback for them?
Chris Oladukin.
Like, bro, the
talk
Steelers
for
drafted
passing
him
touchdowns
in
was
the
a hack.
7th round, dude. Yeah, I mean that was a good game. I mean I needed the Patriots to win that game. They helped the Steelers get that much closer to clinching the division. So I do appreciate them coming back and winning that game. But again, I like the fight in them. I do appreciate that they fight all the way to the end. But my thing is you have to play a complete game of football, and I feel like we haven't seen that much from the Patriots this year. The complete game of football that they have been against much lesser opponents. But I do credit them for always fighting and working themselves back into games. But if they want to win a playoff game and make it anywhere in the playoffs, they got to show that they can play 4 quarters of football against good teams. So not completely sold on the Patriots, but I do like the fight that they have, and that will always keep them in games at least. I guess we'll see what happens come playoff time, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with your point, mainly because I think about that with the Broncos as well. Like, I don't think the Broncos have played a complete game in a while, and that scares me. And like you said, to your point, like, this is Friday, so we just did have Thursday games happen. The Broncos played horribly against Chiefs' third stringer. Like, if it was Gardner Minshew, they might have lost that game. So, the Broncos are definitely frauds. I don't know, though. The Patriots, see, the thing is, also, I'm in 2 championships, fantasy-wise. Drake May is my quarterback for one of them. I needed him to wheel and deal, and he did. So I appreciate them 2 late tuds. You feel me? But
you feel me?
We're playing with some bread right now, man. But no, the thing about the Patriots is they have a defense that when it is clicking, there's nothing you can do with the defense. They're great. They have a great secondary. They have a great front 7. And then that offense. Thing is, it is a question mark now because Travion Henderson did get hurt, and it didn't look like the concussion was like something you could come back in a week. So I don't think he'll be there. Hopefully he'll be there for the next one. But Ramondre Stevenson, is an okay back. I don't know if you get Antonio Gibson in there again, but like,
He's out for the year.
oh, Antonio Gibson's out for the year. Okay,
I'm pretty sure he
never
tore his
mind.
Got
ACL.
him. Yeah, it was
Antonio,
like week 3, bro. It was a
I
minute.
didn't know he was out for the year though. Man,
I think he tore his
okay,
ACL.
all right,
Yeah.
But as far as the Ravens though, I feel like this is a huge blow for the Ravens. For one, this is gonna have a whole lot of offensive or offseason questions comes with it. John Harbaugh. I don't know what you do with him as a coach anymore because this was a failure of a year for sure. Lamar, you don't know what he's going to look like next year, and if it's looking like this year, he's not going to be the same runner, and that's part of Lamar's game. So you don't really know if he's going to have that same threat. Not saying he can't be a top 5 quarterback. All I'm saying is he's a top 5 quarterback partly because he can run the ball just as much as he can throw the ball. And
Yeah.
then lastly, let me see. Hold up. How much blame do you put on Derrick Henry for the season? Because he had another late fumble that kind of cost him the game. So like his fumbles have been a problem this year, and he hasn't had the same production. So like, how much do you really put on Derrick Henry?
That's a valid question. I think earlier on in the year, a lot of the blame goes on Derrick Henry, but I think as to what's been going on recently, not really any of the blame's going on Derrick Henry. I think especially even to you said he fumbled late last game. It's like, okay, he also had the touchdown that put him up 11 points in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? It's like
Nah, true, yeah.
at that point your defense got to lock down. But Derrick Henry, and he's obviously an integral part of the Ravens, but I think the Ravens front office would also be stupid if they were banking on thinking that they have tons of more years of good Derrick Henry left.
Right.
Regardless.
So I think this could be a huge offseason for the Ravens. And coming from a person who's an advocate for the Steelers, I appreciate that. The more questions you have about your franchise, the better.
Yep. I agree.
I agree what he said.
Yeah, what he said.
What he said.
The Ravens
game,
actually can get eliminated from the playoffs tomorrow. If they lose, they're done.
We'll see. For the next games, well, I'll get this one out of the way. I feel like I normally save it for the last one. I'm going to do it right now. We are going to still talk about the Lions Christmas game from yesterday while we're filming this. But this game was a huge game. Lions versus the Steelers at the time. So Steelers came out on top, 29-24. Kenneth Gainwell, amazing job by Kenneth Gainwell. The awareness to catch that football, the awareness to keep his body controlled, the awareness to know nobody touched him on that ground and get up and go score that touchdown. So that was an amazing play as well. And I was excited. Hey, I'm a Browns fan, but hey, I still always love Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what people say. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think it was awesome that Rodgers was out there talking smack to some of the young guns. Said, "Why you mad? Why you won't let me pick up? Are you scared you could have chased down a 42-year-old?" And he was out there balling off his painkillers again. You know how he's rocking every time. 27 for 41, 268 yards, and a passing touchdown. And Jalen Warren, 14 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell, leading receiver on the day, 5 catches, 478 yards, and a touchdown. And on the Lions side of things, that was a very winnable football game for them. Also, very productive day for them offensively. Jared Goff threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. They hadn't had a turnover in the last 4 weeks prior to their Christmas game. 34-54, 364 yards, and 3 passing touchdowns for Jared Goff. I will let you guys hit on this more, but the Steelers' run defense was absolute lockdowns. 4 carries for 14 yards for David Montgomery and 7 carries for a whopping total of 2 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. Bro, Chubbs Peterson has more fingers from freaking Happy Gilmore than Jahmyr Gibbs had yards on Sunday last week.
Man.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. Chubb.
I'm sorry for laughing at my own joke. I did think that was. I'm gonna laugh at my own joke. I don't care. So I guess biggest things from y'all too. We'll touch on what happened during that game too after the game breakdown, because I don't know if y'all saw what happened during that football game on the sidelines. But purely a pure football perspective here, we got the 2 Steelers fans, man. So y'all take this one away.
Well, that was in the middle of the game with DK too. That was in the middle of the game.
And he didn't get thrown out.
No, he did not. The refs did not see that. But okay. Steelers, that was a complete game of football. And I think a lot of Jared Goff's also, I think a lot of his production was when they were trying to come back towards the end of the game, they kind of held him to he didn't do bad, but they held him in check for the most part. Yeah, the Steelers' run defense when Derek Harmon has been on the field, I've said this a couple times this year. When he's on the field, it's a completely different game. He is a monster, and when he's on the field and he's healthy, he improves the run defense exponentially. So having him out there is huge. Yes, Kenneth Gainwell, that catch was insane, and I love watching Aaron Rodgers sling it when he's in his zone. Like you were saying, it is so much fun to watch Aaron Rodgers play, and I love just the way he goes about himself, and he does talk shit and he does get his team fired up. I love that he's also proving all the he's a bad teammate allegations that he is the best leader the Steelers have had in a very long time, and you're starting to see that come through here down the stretch where he's pushing these guys to their max. Like nobody thought Kenneth Gainwell was going to come in and do anything near what he's doing for the Steelers. And like you said, that catch was insane. And speaking of Kenneth Gainwell, that man doesn't even make $2 million. And he's out there making plays after play after play, being our top receiver and also contributing to one of the better 1-2 punches in the NFL with him and Jalen Warren. Steelers are rolling right now, and you get Aaron Rodgers when he's rolling, and if he stays hot, anything is possible. So, big game by the Steelers, dominated the Lions, and that was crazy. That the way the game ended. I'm sure we'll talk about that more, but wow, that was a good game. They had me on my feet at the end of that game. I was sweating bullets, but good game, bro.
Yeah, no, to be honest with you, and I'll talk about that because the last drive, we could not get a stop whatsoever. So when that play did happen, it was more or less a ticky-tack foul because technically Amon-Ra did push off Jalen, and Jalen kind of did sell it. Like, it was a decently called offensive pass interference. Most people let that go. But in that situation, love that it was called. The fact that Jared Goff, though, had the awareness, and like you said, Kenneth Gainwell had awareness to not only catch the ball, not only notice that he wasn't touched, but get into the end zone. Jared Goff is the most highly paid player on that team, if I'm not mistaken. And he picked up the ball and went airborne. I have not seen a quarterback do that, or I have not seen many quarterbacks do that. But the fact that he did shows me that he is a playoff caliber quarterback. But that game was all about the Steelers. Bro. The thing about it, Jalen Warren had 2 45-yard touchdowns. 2 45-yard touchdowns. These aren't 10. These aren't 5 yards. They're 45 yards against a solid defense. And he just breaks away. I feel like they're a top 10 duo, him and Kenneth Gainwell, because Gainwell can come in and not only run the ball, but obviously be a receiving threat. And if you put a linebacker on him, it's tough. It's barbecue chicken. So Steelers are in a good spot.
Chicken.
It's barbecue chicken, for real. So if we can clinch, I don't know if we can clinch this week with Steelers win and a Ravens loss, but if that does happen,
either or they clinch. If the Ravens lose,
okay, all right, perfect. Either or they clinch, they can sit everybody for Week 18, relax, get a good rest that the Steelers haven't had in a very long time, and we might put the Tomlin haters to rest with a playoff win or two this season.
And for real, speaking to the Gainwell thing, if you put a linebacker on Kenneth Gainwell, it's like the clip of Shannon Sharp. He said, the yams, collard greens, and these are braised oxtails, cornbread. he's eating up on all linebackers that are trying to guard him. When Dom told me that Kenneth Gainwell was making less than $2 million, I mean, I wasn't surprised because going into the offseason, it's like he wasn't really a hot commodity or anything like that. But on pure value, that's got to be one of the best contract buys, I think, in the NFL. He's got 900 all-purpose yards this year. If you include, rushing and receiving, he's got 7 touchdowns, and it seems like he just makes the clutch plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think anybody who's seen Kenneth Gainwell on national TV this year play football, you see it. He's a big-time playmaker for their offense, and he's one of the cheapest guys that they have even playing. So I think that's incredible stuff as well. So good job, Dom. Didn't know. Learned something new. As well, let's talk about, we got Jaguars and the Broncos from last week as well. From this previous Sunday, he's already nodding his head. If anybody's watched more than one episode of this podcast, I feel like we always talk about it. These dudes love the Jacksonville Jaguars and what their story has been like for them, and big support for T-Law and everything as well. So T-Law, another great game for the guy, man. He's been on absolute fire. 23 for 36, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns passing for Trevor Lawrence. The other side of things, Bo Nix threw for 350 and a touchdown as well. Great game for him, but T-Law looked so comfortable during this game, and the Jaguars again just continued to show why they actually, could do something in the playoffs. And I was wrong for the first 15 weeks of the NFL season, I think. Confidently, I will say that.
Hey, we all make bad mistakes, bro. It happens, man. Yeah, I mean, I'll even, as someone who has been supporting the Jaguars, I honestly didn't even see it being this amount of upside, but this team is dangerous. I really believe that the Jaguars are the best team in the AFC right now. They're rolling, man. You got T-Law out there scoring these back-to-back weeks of just pure dominance. He scored 10 total touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. He hasn't turned the ball over, I think, in 5 weeks, and that was something that I said a long time ago. Like, if T-Law can cut down the turnovers, like, this team will start winning in a big way. They were already winning these close games, but since T-Law has cut those turnovers, they've just been spanking everybody. So, and even Liam Cohen said this is the most comfortable he's seen T-Law by far. And it's because he's you can tell he's starting to finally understand the offense all the way, and he's just out there playing freely, and he looks amazing. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is playing these last couple weeks. He's been playing like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. So you get this Trevor Lawrence along with that defense who has been just so stout all season, and they're going to make some real noise come the postseason. So shout out to the Jags because they're doing some good things down there.
Yeah, I think the T-Law buy-in was the biggest thing that the Jags needed this season, especially when, Liam Cohen, he was coming from the Buccaneers. He was thought of as an offensive guru, one of those offensive gurus that were waiting for his chance to be a head coach. And he had a lot of talent, but at the start of it, they were getting a lot of, or they had a lot of chips with each other because T-Law felt like he didn't have to make that decision, and Liam Cohen felt like, the progressions weren't there. Now you have Brian Thomas Jr., who's, haven't lived up to his sophomore expectations, but still doing really good. You got Jacoby Myers, who came over and was having a great couple of first games. And then Gabe put it in the stats. Thought I was reading it for somebody, but it was actually Parker Washington's stats.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe was not a big Parker Washington guy. He had
I was not at all a Parker Washington.
He wasn't. Parker Washington has 6 receptions for 145 yards. Now, I'm not big on averages per reception because it's not the biggest telling stat. But if I do the math in my head, what is that, 20 something yards per reception? It has to be.
Oh, of course. That would be like 24. That'd be like 24
yards per reception, which is absolutely absurd coming from a wide receiver 3 probably. Mix that in with Travis Etienne having 4.5 yards a carry, and you just have one of the best offenses in the league. Mix that in with a great defense who gets turnovers every single week, and you have one of the best teams in the league. So, Gabe, you were good to, admit your wrongdoing. Everybody's wrong here and there. We're a podcast. We're a sports podcast. We're going to get these things wrong. It's good that you admit that, though.
I was real wrong about the Jaguars, and you were joking about. I don't even think you remember. You probably don't even know why Dom was laughing so hard. Before the season started, Jerry, he asked me, he said, "Who do you think you'd rather have, Parker Washington or De'Ami Brown?" And I was like, "Man, I don't give a damn about no Parker Washington." I was like, they both aren't very good, but I'll take De'Ami Brown. And he's like, "Bro, you're tripping." He's like, yeah. Parker Washington's an all right third receiver. I was like, if Parker Washington's your third receiver, you're screwed. Jaguars are
He's
not.
catching
And
straight
he's
They're
a
balls.
not
great special
screwed.
teams returner too. Bro's got speed to break it in an open field if he got the ball in his hands on a return.
Hey, so like I said, I take back all disrespect I put on Parker Washington. It's part of the reason too, is because we're Buckeye guys, man. He was a Penn State guy. I can't like Parker Washington.
True, but Saquon was the same guy. We all love Saquon now.
Love Saquon is crazy. I don't like or dislike Saquon. I mean, he's undeniable. He's too good where I
Hey,
can't say he sucks.
don't
Like
let that Buckeye bias get to you, bro.
he's just too good. I can't say he sucks. Um, Another big game from last week as well was Panthers versus the Buccaneers. We've been talking about their playoff battle for the last couple weeks, and Panthers came out on top in this game, 23-20. Baker Mayfield really has not looked great here these last couple weeks. The Buccaneers offense hasn't been clicking very much, and the Panthers just kind of played an average game. They just did what they had to do because the Buccaneers offense couldn't get anything going. And like I said, they came out on top by a field goal that they got 2 minutes, 20 seconds left in the football game. Ryan Fitzgerald sunk the game winner and gave the Panthers first place in the NFC South. That is their division, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes, it is.
I don't have any crazy takeaways from that game. I mean, the Buccaneers and the Panthers, they get to play next week and run it back. And when they run it back, it's going to be at the Buccaneers, I think. I think this last game was at the
Yeah,
Panthers.
it was in Carolina this week.
Yeah, and then it's going to be back in Tampa. Neither of them played their best game.
No,
Neither of them played their best game.
really, I
Tough
think
divisional battle.
right, I was gonna say that I have a couple things, nothing too crazy, but I think we've learned too recently that when Bryce Young needs to lock in and be clutch and win games, he's kind of starting to get to that
Very
point where
capable.
you can rely on him and he's making the right play. And here's another thing, Baker. I think I've said this a couple weeks ago, is and I like Baker, so I don't even like to say this, but I feel like once Baker starts getting expectations, that's when he starts to stutter a little bit. I like Baker Mayfield, but when he's the underdog, that's when I feel like he thrives. But now that everybody's on the Baker train, he's kind of stuttered here and there. But yeah, huge win for the Panthers, and you know they've shown ability to win against even higher level teams than they are in certain situations. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do if they win their division.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to disagree with what you said, to be honest with you. I was thinking about it. I was going to disagree with it, and then I'm like, well, Baker was a 2-time walk-on. Like, bro loves to thrive under pressure where
Loves
nobody
it.
thinks he'll
Love
thrive. So, like, it kind of makes sense. You know, he's on the Browns. You know, people think the Browns just organization-wise are horrible. Comes back, leads them to a playoff win. Goes to the Panthers. They don't think they can do anything in a week or something like that. Goes to the Niners, do the same thing. And now he's on the Buccaneers where everybody thought he was going to do decent. Started off the year hot. Now he has a start. And now he's playing down to his competition. So I feel like the Buccaneers are in real trouble. Bryce Young, to be honest with you, I want to hate him so bad. Also because like my brother's a Panthers fan, so it's like I give him so much crap because Bryce Young is that prototypical person to where like, oh, he's too short, can't throw a great deep ball. He is doing like I won't say God's work, but like bro's playing amazing football in a city that has limited talent, especially on the wide receiver side. So kudos to him. Hopefully they get into the playoffs. I don't want to see Baker in the playoffs. I don't think anybody wants to see Baker in the playoffs at this point.
Man, and he started so good this year.
He started great. He was an MVP front runner in the beginning of this, like the first 8 weeks of the season. He was MVP front runner.
I'm confused though because how, based off everything you just said about Bryce Young, how he's been playing great football, doing God's work, he's short and overlooked, and you're like, I just want to hate him.
I hate.
Yeah, why do you want to hate him?
Trash. I want to hate him because he's. Whenever I wanted before this season or before this part of the season, I should say, whenever I wanted to believe in Bryce Young, you know what he did? He just punched me right in the face. Doesn't care. But this season, all of a sudden, he's just a top 5 quarterback. He just wants to look good with Tedderall McMillan and everybody else. I don't get it, bro.
I don't get it, bro.
I don't get it, bro.
Yeah, it's almost like you give a guy a good receiver. He can play quarterback a little bit better. That's an
One
interesting.
though, you just need
Maybe-
one good receiver,
maybe-
2 good running backs, and all of a sudden he just looks like an all pro.
I think the Cleveland Browns could learn a thing or two about it. It's really, I don't know why. It's just like so hard to connect the dots on why that makes a quarterback better. I don't know. Just some random light bulb, you know. A couple of shout outs as well to some of the players who did great this week from some of the games we did not talk about. Yeah, we're cutting out some of the games, man. We don't need to tell y'all about the Saints game. Sorry, bro. We just don't.
You don't care about them.
And it even includes my own team. We don't even need to talk about the Browns game.
Oh, I'd love to talk.
I don't care that we almost beat the Buffalo Bills, because you know what? We didn't. And it doesn't matter.
But you almost did. No,
almost only counts in hand.
almost, you know.
Yeah. Almost is a moral victory. I don't care. We don't need to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Olave went absolutely crazy last week. 10 catches, 148 yards, 2 tutties for Chris Olave. George Pickens, 7 for 130 yards and a touchdown. Ashton Genty, 24 carries for 128 yards, 60 yards receiving, and 2 total touchdowns. Chase Brown, 3 tutties. Hat trick for Chase Brown. And I'm going to say it one more time as well. I don't care. We thought we weren't going to talk about him, but I'm gonna say it again anyway. Parker Washington, buddy. Shout out to you, man. 6 catches, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns as well for Parker Washington. Next thing here, we will keep it with some of the storylines that have gone on here in the NFL today. Dom actually brought this to my attention. I hadn't heard about this, but was it today that this Maxx Crosby thing happened, Dom? That was today? Okay, so Dom, you can take it away, man. Explain it. You know this situation better than I do.
I was gonna say I just saw the post. It was pretty much, I guess, when Maxx Crosby came into work. Typed in his code at the door. Luckily, he didn't get rejected. But he actually got in the door. But they told him, man, you're done this season. And he said, all right, well then I'm done. And he turned around and he got up out of there.
And he got up out of there. And he hit the jack.
So, serious though, they're shutting him down, and he didn't like it, so he left. And I think this could be a big turning point for a guy who stayed loyal to one of the worst teams in the league in the last couple of years. That might have been his last straw, because that is just not how he rolls.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I just feel like some guys would be okay with that. Maxx Crosby's not one of those guys to be okay with that. Especially, like you said, for the loyalty he's given to the franchise the last couple of years. It seems like he's just a guy that wants to play football, man. Whether it's for a good team or a bad one, he wants to just play football. And they held him back from playing football.
I say he knows, too. The reason it makes him so mad is because he knows it's because of tanking purposes, because they're playing the Giants. And if they lose to the Giants, it puts him in a better position to draft higher. So it probably just makes him even more mad because he hates to lose. And then you're going to tell me you're purposely trying to lose. It's not sliding with him.
Nah.
No, and it definitely wouldn't. To be honest with you, that's not a player he is. Like you said, he loves to play football. He wants to play meaningful football, even though he knows that they're probably going to get eliminated. Like, they've gotten eliminated more than they haven't when he's been there, for as long as he's been there. And he's still chosen to stay loyal because he wants to see a rebuild. But for him now, it's like he knows the rebuild is still in the rebuilding process. Like, things haven't gotten better. You still haven't gotten your coach. You probably, I don't know what you do with Pete Carroll this year, but it's been a dumpster fire this entire season. And the fact that they do want to shut him down, for me, business-wise, I get it. You don't want your star player to get hurt and potentially, do something to where he's going to miss time next season. Or if you do want to trade him or do have to trade him, you don't want to diminish his trade value by having him get hurt in 2 meaningless games of the season. But to be honest with you, it doesn't look good when you are essentially tanking. And they're doing the same thing. The Giants are sitting a whole bunch of their key players as well. So it's not going to be a pretty game at all, and they know it. I think Maxx just wanted to get his Cancun ticket early, get there before everybody else got there and just, enjoy the sunshine.
Man, Max was trying to be in East Rutherford, New Jersey, playing football. He ain't trying to go to no Cancun, man. He trying to run some football games.
Yeah,
Um,
but now that he knows what they've been to do, you might as well just head to
he,
Cancun.
might, he
Start
might as
early.
well. He thinks I'm
Oh, really?
going.
Ain't nobody else there.
either either way, man, my takeaway from that situation is if Max Crosby ever, it comes out that he does have legitimate large beef with the Las Vegas Raiders and he ever was open in the trade market, man. If he goes to any of the top 5 teams in the league, you're going from okay, we're contending for a Super Bowl to dude, if we don't win the Super Bowl, we failed. That's my opinion. If he went to any of the Eagles, the Bills,
I was about to say, who's like the team you guys want him to go to if he does get traded?
I would love for him on the Bears, bro. Bears would be sick, man. Because at least if he's gonna go to a team that's really good, I wanted him to go to a team that's recently good. Like still has a chance, but like if you get him, he's really like okay, you're there now. Or like the Jaguars.
Us
Jaguars would be
David,
awesome, bro.
David,
Him and Josh Hines Allen would be a beautiful edge rushing duo. Beautiful.
You don't have room because of Trayvon Walker, though.
Oh, well, Trayvon plays outside linebacker, so they could theoretically change their formation
I was
if
gonna
they
say
wanted to.
that'd be the
He was an outside linebacker coming out
Okay.
of Georgia, so they could, if they wanted to, run a 3-4 and then just have 2 edge rushers, run your outside linebackers rushing sometimes too, run some different coverages. They could be a little spicy.
A little spicy, a little spicy.
little spicy, you know what I'm saying?
There we
Or another one thought about could be the coldest white boy edge rushing duo of all time. He could be out in Detroit with Aiden Hutchinson, and they could mess some games up too.
They could.
Like there anywhere, if Max was to go anywhere, man, it's over. It's over.